students, welcome to the class. In the previous part of this chapter you have studied plant tissues. Hope you understood it well, all the types of plant tissues and their structure and function. Now in this part we are going to study about the animal tissues. So animal tissues, their classification and the structure and the function as well as their location also. So let me see what are the different parts we are going to study here. So in animal tissue we will study the epithelial tissue and the types of epithelial tissues like squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium, ciliated epithelium and glandular epithelium. Then the second main tissue is the muscle tissue, muscular tissue, where we study the three types of muscular tissues: striated muscles, unstriated muscles and the cardiac muscles. Next we will study the connective tissue. Connective tissue, further they are of the different types like areolar tissue, dense regular tissue in which tendons and ligaments, then adipose tissue. Then the next type of connective tissue is the skeletal tissue, where we will study the cartilage and bone, and the last is the fluid connective tissue, in which we will study blood and lymph. And the last that type of tissue is the nervous tissue. So basically four types of tissues and their details: epithelial tissue, muscular tissue, connective tissue and the nervous tissue. So you open your book also to see the description. I'll show you here the diagrams. So animal tissue and their classification, as I said you, four types of animal tissues we are going to study: epithelial, muscular, connective and nervous tissue or nerve cells. So epithelial tissue is further of five types: squamous epithelial tissue, cuboidal epithelial tissue, columnar epithelium tissue and ciliated epithelial tissue and glandular epithelial tissues. So these five types are there in your syllabus. Then muscular tissue, they are of three types: striated, unstriated or smooth and cardiac. They are known as voluntary muscles also, involuntary muscle and heart muscles. Then connective tissue is there. It is of three types: fluid connective tissue, skeletal connective tissue and connective tissue proper. Fluid connective tissue two types: blood and lymph. Skeletal the tissue is of two types: bones and cartilage. And connective tissue proper is of four types: areolar, adipose, ligaments and tendons. And at last the nervous tissue, which is made up of nerve cells. So understood children? These all types of tissues, their structure, their location and function we will study. So we will start the first type of tissue, that is epithelial tissue. What is the meaning of epithelial? Epi means upon. In Greek, epi means upon and thelio means to grow. So these tissues, they grow or cover the upper part of the organ or the inner part of the organ in the form of layer. So one or more layers of thin, protective, continuous sheet of cells covering the external surface of the body and internal body organs. So our external surface like skin is also covered with this tissue, and the internal organs, they also have the outer covering and inner covering made up of the epithelial tissues. So understood children? This is epithelial tissue. Now it lines the body cavity also and the cavities of body organs also, that is the inner cavity, inner that wall. Blood vessels, ducts, for example, lining of the internal surface of mouth, gut, nose, outermost layer of skin. They all are made up of the epithelial tissues. Now epithelial tissues, they vary in their cells vary in the shape. Their cells may be flat, cuboidal or columnar in shape. Now characteristics of the epithelial tissue is that these the cells of these tissue are closely placed and they form a continuous sheet. As I said you, that continuous sheet of cells are present. So they make the covering a continuous sheet, and they are closely packed, it means no intercellular space is present in between them. Blood vessels are absent in the epithelial tissue. The main function of epithelial tissue is to protect, because they form outer and inner covering. So they protect the underlying tissues from mechanical injury, entry of germs, and drying up of the skin and harmful chemicals. They help in absorption also, like the epithelial lining of the intestine absorbs the digested food. Epithelial cells, they help in the secretion also, like digestive glands, they have the epithelial lining which secretes some useful secretions like enzymes, and like the epithelium of the endocrine gland secretes the hormones. Now epithelial tissue helps to form the gametes also, like the epithelium of the male and female reproductive organs in the individuals, like seminiferous tubules, they form the male gamete sperm, the inner lining of the ovary, it forms the ova. Epithelial tissues, they are sensory in functions also, like sensory epithelium, they help in sense also, like in sense organs they are present, like skin, eye, ear, nose, and they receive the sensory stimuli. In this manner they are sensory in function, they convey nerve impulse to the central nervous system. And epithelium tissue, this help in the exchange of material also. How does it help? So it helps in the exchange of material, like epithelial lining of alveoli in lungs helps in the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide between the blood and inhaled air. So at different places there are different functions performed by the epithelial tissues. Now types of epithelial tissue, it is basically on the basis of the shape of the cells. So on that basis we will see shape of the cells and their position and the layers formed by them. So basically 5 types of tissues you have in your syllabus, like the simple squamous epithelium. So first I shall discuss the shape, so you can differentiate in between them. So first the squamous epithelium. Squamous epithelium is made up of that flat polygonal cells, and they are closely fitted with each other. You can see here these cells are closely fitted together like tiles in a mosaic floor. No space is there in between them, and closely fitted like the tiles in a mosaic floor. Their location and all that we will discuss in the next part of it. Here I am differentiating the different epithelial layers. Next is the simple cuboidal epithelium. You see, this is simple cuboidal epithelium. In this the cells are cuboidal in shape. So more or less they are square shaped, they are of equal height and width, and in surface view they look polygonal in the shape. Next we will see the simple cuboidal epithelium is there, and simple squamous is there. Then the simple columnar epithelium. Columnar epithelium, you can see the cells are column like. You can see here cells are column like. It is formed of tall pillar like or brick like cylindrical cells lying side by sides, and here the cells are much taller than they are wide. So understood children? This is simple columnar epithelium. Then we will see here the cuboidal we have seen. Now here we will see the stratified ciliated epithelium. This is stratified ciliated epithelium. Stratified means layers. Stratified, it is made up of strata. Strata means layers. So here the cells may be stratified squamous when their arrangement like the squamous epithelium, or they may be the cuboidal also. But the thing is, there stratified means this here the cells are arranged in many layers. You can see there are many layers. So this is stratified. And when they have the cilia, then they become the ciliated epithelium. Cilia are the minute hair-like structure. If they are present, then they are known as the ciliated epithelium. So these are the different type of epithelium. We can identify them on the basis of their shape. Now these all 5 types of cells, we will see their structure. Structure already I discussed with you. Squamous epithelium, flat, irregular, thin cells, just like fit like the floor tiles to form delicate lining. They form the pavement epithelium also. Where they are located? They are located in esophagus, lining of mouth, alveoli of the lungs and blood vessels. Function, protection, mainly protection, first function, and next it depends on the organ where they are present. Suppose in lungs, then help in the exchange of gases in lungs and materials between cells and blood. Next is the cuboidal epithelium. Cells are square shaped cells are there in the cuboidal. They are of equal height and width, and here cuboidal with round nucleus in the center. You can see the nucleus is also present in the center. Here also the nucleus is present in the center in a squamous epithelium. Cuboidal epithelium is present in kidney tubules and ducts of salivary glands. So they are present in salivary glands. What is the function of cuboidal epithelium? Providing mechanical support. At times the epithelium tissue folds and form a gland that secretes substances. So when this cuboidal epithelium, here it secretes some secretions, then it works as the glandular epithelium. It may be made up of the columnar, because glandular epithelium, it is based on the function. Means if the this epithelium present in the glands, then it is known as the glandular epithelium, which secretes certain substances. So glandular epithelium may be the type of columnar epithelium or may be the type of cuboidal epithelium. So next is the columnar epithelium. Here the cells are more taller and less wide, pillar like, placed side by side, and nucleus is situated here near the base. So because these are the long cells, and nucleus, they are located at the base. They are present in the inner lining of intestine, in respiratory tract. Cells have cilia also. So when this cells, they have cilia. So in that case they are known as the ciliated columnar epithelium. They may be the cuboidal cells, cuboidal epithelium. They may also have the cilia, or the one columnar epithelium, it may also have the cilia. So in that case they are of two types. Suppose if the columnar epithelium cell has the cilia, then it is known as the columnar ciliated epithelium, and if the cuboidal epithelium has the cilia, then it is known as the cuboidal ciliated epithelium. Understood? So the cilia are the hair-like structures present at the free end, at their free end, and these cilia, they keeps lashing and moving, and helps to move the material which enters the organ. So understood? This is known as the ciliated columnar epithelium, here known as the ciliated cuboidal epithelium. And what is the function? Help in the absorption, excretion and secretion. And this ciliated columnar epithelium, it is present in the trachea, windpipe. And this cuboidal ciliated epithelium, it lines the certain parts of urinary tubules also, like kidney tubules are there. So understood, children? These are the different types. And the last here the stratified squamous epithelium. Stratified, as I explained you earlier also, that it is made up of the squamous flat cells arranged in many layers. Strata means layers. So arranged in many layers to prevent wear and tear of the parts. So here the epithelial cells arranged in several layers or strata of similar or different kinds of epithelium cells. Now where are they found? They are found in skin and the cornea, means in the eye. In skin, their function to prevent wear and tear, and they are found in tongue also, esophagus lining of the mouth also, in the cornea also. And what is their main function? Their function is the protection and prevent wear and tear. So these are all the main types of epithelium. Further, their subtypes are also there, which I have discussed along with this. Mainly you will learn this four, and with certain more structures are there, like cilia. When the cilia are there, then it becomes a ciliated epithelium. When the epithelium present in the glands and perform the function of secretion, then it becomes the glandular epithelium. So understood, children? All these four types of epithelium: squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium, and stratified. This epithelium, when they are present in the glands, then they form the glandular epithelium, and when the cilia are present, then they are known as the ciliated epithelium. So this is all about the epithelial tissue. Now the next type of tissue is the muscular tissue. What is muscular tissue? So the muscular tissue, it is made up of the long narrow cells. They are known as the muscle fibers. So they are made up of muscle fibers, and these muscle fibers are held together by the connective tissue. These muscle fibers contract and relax and brings about the movement of body parts. So they are basically responsible to move our body parts. You know, we move with the help of muscles. And this muscular tissues are of three types: striated or voluntary muscles, unstriated or involuntary muscles, and the third is cardiac muscles. Now I'll discuss here the structure of all these three types of muscle tissue and their function also. So we'll start with the striated muscles. So children, you see that the name striated muscles, why it is given? Because it has striations on it, that is, dark and light bands are present on it. You can see here, dark and light band. So due to these striations, they are known as the striated muscles. And these striated muscles, they are known as the skeletal muscles also. Why? Because these muscles, they are attached to the bones, and bones are the part of skeleton system. So they are known as the skeletal muscles also. These striated muscles or skeletal muscles, they have one more name, that is voluntary muscles. Why voluntary muscles? Because the movement of these muscles is under our will. Hence they are the voluntary muscles. So understood, children, the three names: striated muscles, skeletal muscles, and voluntary muscles. Now these muscles, they consist of long, narrow, cylindrical, unbranched fibers with blunt ends, and in the myofibrils they are show alternating light and dark bands. So you can see narrow, cylindrical, unbranched fibers, and myofibrils, they form dark and light band. Because of these light and dark alternating bands, these are termed as the striated muscles, because these are the striations. Understood, children? And each muscle fiber has many nuclei. You can see here, in each muscle fiber there are many nuclei. So these are the striated muscles. And where are they present? They are present in the body wall, our arms, legs, tongue, face, neck. All these regions or the organs which we move when we want. So that is why their movement is under our will. So we'll call these as the voluntary muscles. And these muscles constitute about 50% of our body weight. So understood, children? Striated muscle. Now we'll come to the unstriated muscles. Unstriated means this type of striations are not present in them. So they are termed as unstriated, and they are known as the smooth muscles also, because there is no transverse striations or bands present in them. And these unstriated muscles are known as involuntary muscles also. Why? Because their movement is not under our will. That is why they are involuntary muscles. Now we'll come to the cells which are present in the unstriated muscles. So cells which are present in it, they are spindle shaped. You can see spindle shaped cells are there, arranged in bundles, and myofibrils which are present in them, they do not show light and dark bands, and each muscle cell has one nucleus. While here we have seen there are many nuclei present in each muscle fiber, but here there is only one nucleus in each muscle cell. And these unstriated muscles are found in our alimentary canal, that is digestive system, whose movement is not under our control, urinary bladder, dermis of skin, iris of the eye, blood vessels. Okay, so all they are made up of the unstriated muscles. Now the third type is the cardiac muscle. Cardiac word is having the meaning heart. So these are the muscles present in the heart. They are exclusively present in the heart, and these muscles are involuntary. Understood? Because their movement is not under our will. So these muscles are involuntary and work rhythmically, tirelessly, contracting and relaxing endlessly from early embryonic stage until death. I'll explain you how. So these muscles, where are they present? They are present in heart. So work rhythmically. You know the heartbeats there means at a rhythm, like in 1 minute 74 beats are there. So heartbeats are there in rhythm. So it works rhythmically, tirelessly, without getting tired. If your heart will not work, then the person dies. Contracting and relaxing endlessly, because you know heart contracts and relaxes all the time to supply the blood and collect the blood from the various parts. And these muscles, they start working from early embryonic stage and works until death. So understood, children, the specific feature of the cardiac muscle. These muscles are cylindrical. You can see they are cylindrical. Striated, you can see the striations has here also. In striated muscles are there striations. So in cardiac muscles also you can see the light and dark band striations are there. And cardiac muscles are branched. Here you see the striated muscles, they are not branched, they are a complete cylindrical structure. These cylindrical structure further divide and they form the branches. So they are branched one. And muscle filaments are connected with each other with the dark junction, and these dark junctions are known as the intercalated disc. So you can see these are the junctional complexes. Okay, so muscle filaments are connected with the dark junction and they are known as the intercalated disc. So understood, children, cardiac muscles and the structure. So draw the diagram of all these three muscles and study them comparatively. So you can learn the differences in between these all three muscles, structural differences also, and the functional differences also. Understood? Now we'll see the another type of muscles there. This all I have discussed in detail. Here once I'll revise here. All these striped or striated muscles, unstriated muscles, and these are the cardiac muscle. They are having the structure between striated and non-striated muscles. Okay, structure and everything I have explained you. So this is revision only. Now we'll do the connective tissue. What is connective tissue? Connective tissue, as it is clear from the name, it connects, binds. So it is a binding and supporting tissue. It is distributed throughout the body and forms about 30% of our body weight. And it forms a sheath around the organs. Basically, this connective tissue has an abundance of intercellular substances like matrix, connective tissue cells, and connective tissue fibers. All these are present in the connective tissue, and it binds one another, means the cells of the connective tissue are loosely packed and they are non-living and called packing tissue also. And it binds one another. For example, muscle with the skin, how are they attached? With the help of connective tissue. Muscles with the bones, how are they connected together? With the help of connective tissue. So all these are the functions of connective tissue: binding function, forming the sheath around the organ, protective sheath on the around the delicate organ like spleen, kidneys, testes. Around these, the protective sheath is formed by the connective tissue, and it forms a supporting network also, like supporting framework of cartilage and bones. The skeletal system is their skeletal framework, or skeleton is made up of the bones and cartilage. So all these are the functions of the connective tissue. Now we'll come to the types of connective tissue. So the major type of connective tissues are three: connective tissue proper, fluid connective tissue, and supporting connective tissue. Connecting tissue proper, it is further of three types. Here two are given, loose and dense. I'll tell you. In loose, here the areolar connective tissue comes, and in the dense, the fibrous connective tissue and the adipose fat tissue. So these three types of tissues are there under the connective tissue proper. Fluid connective tissue is of two types: blood and lymph. About the this detail you have studied in the 8th class also. Supportive connective tissue are there, cartilage and bones. So supporting connective tissue are cartilage and bones. So let me see their detail. So we'll start with the connective tissue proper, and its first type, areolar connective tissue. It helps in packing and binding the organ. So it is most widely distributed tissue and found beneath the epidermis of skin, present below the epidermis of skin. This tissue binds the skin with the muscles, attaches blood vessels and nerves to the surrounding tissues. And this tissue makes the skin elastic also to withstand stretching. And the various structures present in these tissues are there: fibroblast, matrix, collagen fibers, and yellow fibers are also there. These are the muscle fibers, mast cells, macrophages. They attack on the foreign particles and then kill them. So all these are the structures present in the areolar connective tissue. Main function is there to bind the skin with the muscles, attaches blood vessels and nerves to the surrounding tissues. Now next we will see the fibrous connective tissue. Fibrous, as it is clear from the name, it consists of fibers. So it consists of fibers forming cells, tendons and ligaments. Two types of fibers are there, tendons and ligaments. What are tendons? They are tough, inelastic fibers, connect muscles with the bone. I will show you in the diagram here the tendons. You can see these are the tendons. These tendons are tough and inelastic. Elasticity is not there. And its matrix contains unbranched white collagen fibers. And they connect muscles with the bones. You can see this is bone. And here the muscles present. So muscles are connected with the bone with the help of, you can see these are the muscles. So muscles are connected with the bones with the help of tendons. Understood? They are tough and elastic. Now we will see the another that muscle, that fiber, that is ligaments. So you see here this is ligament, and these ligament are elastic due to presence of yellow elastic fiber in matrix. What is the function of ligament? They connect one bone to another bone. So you can see here that one bone of the leg, you can see more clearly, and this is the another bone. So two bones are connected with the help of ligaments. So understood? Tendons and ligaments. Tendons tough and inelastic and connect muscle with the bones, and ligaments are elastic, connect one bone with another bone. So these are fibrous connective tissue. Another type of connective tissue proper is the adipose fat tissues. So adipose tissue acts as a padding under the skin. So it acts like a pad under the skin, acts as an insulation for retaining body heat. It has actually fat storage and made up of the cells known as adipocytes. So the fat which is stored in adipose tissue, because it is known as the fat tissue also, it acts an insulation. Insulation means does not allow the body heat to escape out. So retain the body heat and retains the body temperature also. So this is adipose tissue. So understood, children? Types of connective tissue. First type we have done connective tissue proper. Connective tissue proper is of three types: areolar connective tissue, fibrous connective tissue, and adipose connective tissue. Now the second type of connective tissue is the supportive connective tissue. Supportive, understood by the name, it forms the internal supportive framework and which is formed by the cartilage and bones. Now let me see what is cartilage. Cartilage is the non-porous tissue. Non-porous means without pores, and it has matrix, and there are no nerves. You can see this is matrix present in the cartilage. There are no nerves or blood vessels in it, and cartilage has cells in it. These are known as the chondrocytes. So cells of the cartilage are known as the chondrocytes. They are present in the fluid filled spaces, and these spaces are known as the lacunae. The cartilage is semi-transparent and elastic tissue present in larynx, larynx voice box, trachea, at the end of bones, nasal septum, and in between the ribs and the sternum. So this is cartilage, non-porous and semi-transparent and elastic tissue. Now next we'll see the bone. What is bone? Bone is the rigid, hard and rigid tissue, and it is porous, has pores in it. And the bone cells which are present in it, they are known as the osteocyte. Remember, in the shape of cells I showed you there that osteocytes are there, irregular shaped. So osteocytes, and these osteocytes are the star shaped cells. Each cell is enclosed in a small cavity that is known as the lacuna. So these osteocytes, they are closed in a small cavity. They are known as the lacunae. So these are the lacunae, and it has a good supply of the blood vessels. Like cartilage, I said, supply of the blood vessels and nerves, but the bones, they have good supply of blood vessels and nerves, and have the inorganic salts and the living cells in them. So this is bone, which is the type of supportive connective tissue. So difference between bone and cartilage can be asked in the exam. So this some comparative study also you do. Next is the fluid connective tissue. Fluid, as it is clear from the name, it is fluid in nature, which connects. So fluid connective tissue here is of two types: blood and lymph. So we'll see the blood. About blood you have studied in the 8th class also, that blood consists of different types of blood corpuscles. They are suspended in the blood plasma. And what is plasma? A straw colored fluid which contains 80 to 90% water, 5 to 10% of the cellular elements, and the cellular elements are of different types. Remember, three types. RBCs, red blood cells, are there. These are the red blood cells. Their function to carry the oxygen with the help of hemoglobin present in them. Then the white blood cells, which maintains the immunity. These all are the white blood cells. And the platelets are there, which are present in the blood. Platelets which help in the clotting of blood. So you have studied about them already in detail. So understood? And blood also helps in the transportation of nutrients and the maintain the immunity. Now another type of that fluid connective tissue is lymph. So lymph is transparent light yellow fluid. You know, color of the blood is red. Why the red it is? Because of the presence of hemoglobin in the RBCs. But lymph is transparent and light yellow fluid. No RBC is there present in it. It contains white blood corpuscles which are known as the leukocytes. Lymph present in the intercellular spaces also, means the space in between the cells. So it is called as the tissue fluid also. It helps in the transportation of nutrients and maintains the immunity. So fat molecules are transported with the help of lymph. And RBCs which are present in the blood, they are circular, biconcave, disc shaped, and they don't have nuclei. And all these increases the surface area in the RBCs for gaseous exchange and accommodates more hemoglobin in them. So that is the function of RBCs. White blood cells, that is WBCs, which are known as the leukocytes, they fight with the foreign particles, germs which enter in our body, they kill them. Platelets which help in the clotting of blood. So this is the function of fluid connective tissue. Now the last is their nervous tissue. Nervous tissue, it consists of nerve cells, and nerve cells, they are termed as the neuron also. And a bundle of nerve cells, they form the nerves. So many nerve cells together, they form the nerves. Or a neuron or a nerve cell is the structural and functional unit of the nervous system. So our nervous system is made up of millions of neurons. And a typical nerve cell consists of three parts. These three parts are their cell body, axon, and this terminal end, along with the dendrites and the dendrons. So processes are there: cell body, axon, dendrites, and dendrons. So cell body, this is the cell body. Cell body has a prominent nucleus and the cytoplasm is present in it. And after this, the long fibers and small fibers, two types of fibers are there. So from the cell bodies, several fibers or branches arise. They form the dendrites and the dendron. Now one of the branches longer, very long, and this branch is known as the axon, and this bundle of axon forms a nerve. Axon terminates into the endings, and these endings of one nerve cell is loosely placed on the cell body of another nerve cell. Means this terminal end forms the connection with the another neuron by connecting it with the cytone of another cell, nerve cell. So this loose connection between the axon, this axon ending of one nerve cell and the cytone of another nerve cell is known as the synapse. And the other small branches are already I explained you, dendrites and dendrons. So first here the dendrons are there, and these are the dendrons, and these dendron divides to form the dendrites. What is the function of nervous tissue? It helps in the perception of stimuli. The changes which are taking place in the surrounding, we receive it with the help of nervous tissue, and it responds very rapidly from one part of the body to other. We feel, we sense with the help of nervous system only. And the brain, spinal cord and nerves, they are the organs where this nervous tissue is present. So understood children? All the four types of animal tissues we have started from. Epithelial tissue, its types, all the 5 types are there. Then the next is the muscular tissue, 3 types: striated, unstriated and cardiac muscles. Connective tissue, again it is of 3 types: connective tissue proper, supportive connective tissue, fluid connective tissue, and the last is nervous tissue. So read this chapter from the book also, and a comparative chart is given on page number 33 in your book. So you see that also and learn the key points. and solve the check your progress exercises also, and the back exercises also.